Mary Magdalene, a name that evokes mystery, devotion, and centuries of debate. Who was this intriguing figure who stood at the heart of some of Christianity's most pivotal moments? Was she a sinner, a saint, or something far more profound? Today we explore the incredible story of Mary Magdalene, a woman whose legacy has sparked endless fascination and controversy. Mary Magdalene, also known as Mary of Magdala, is one of the most prominent and frequently mentioned female figures in the New Testament. Her name, Magdalene, originates from Magdala, a bustling fishing village on the western shore of the Sea of Galilee. This geographic identifier sets her apart from other Marys in the Gospels, such as Mary, the mother of Jesus, and Mary, the sister of Martha and Lazarus. But more than just distinguishing her identity, it suggests her independence. Unlike most women of her time, Mary Magdalene is not defined by her relationship to a father, husband, or son. Her identity stands on its own, a rare occurrence in a patriarchal society where lineage and marital status often overshadowed individual identity. The Gospels introduce Mary Magdalene as one of Jesus' most devoted followers, playing a vital and active role in his ministry. Luke 8:1-3 describes her as a woman who was healed by Jesus, along with others who supported his mission with their resources. This detail alone sets her apart as a woman of means and influence, someone who chose to dedicate her life and wealth to Jesus' teachings. In fact, Mary Magdalene is mentioned by name more frequently in the Gospels than most of the male disciples, underscoring her importance to the early Christian community. Yet despite her prominence in Scripture, her story has been clouded by speculation and misrepresentation for centuries. Was she a penitent prostitute, a misunderstood leader, or a symbol of feminine spirituality? These questions have fueled debates among theologians, historians, and popular culture alike. What is clear, however, is that Mary Magdalene was no ordinary follower. She witnessed Jesus' crucifixion, was present at his burial, and was the first to see him after his resurrection, a role so significant that she is often called the Apostle to the Apostles. In her, we see a woman of courage, resilience, and faith, whose story continues to captivate and inspire to this day.
The Gospel of Mary is one of the most remarkable discoveries in early Christian literature, shedding light on Mary Magdalene's significant, yet often misunderstood role in the history of Christianity. This ancient Gnostic text, unearthed in the late 19th century, offers a fresh perspective on spiritual teachings and Mary's connection to Jesus and his mission. Unlike the canonical Gospels included in the Bible, the Gospel of Mary portrays her not as a mere follower, but as a central figure among Jesus' disciples, highlighting her profound spiritual insights and leadership. A key theme in the Gospel of Mary is the emphasis on personal spiritual knowledge and enlightenment. Unlike the hierarchical structure often associated with institutional religion, this text presents a more egalitarian and introspective approach to faith. Mary is depicted as a teacher, someone who possesses unique wisdom and understanding of Jesus' teachings, which she shares with the other disciples. In one passage, when the disciples are fearful and unsure after Jesus' death, Mary comforts and reassures them, recounting private teachings that Jesus had entrusted to her. This portrayal elevates her role from a passive observer to an active leader, challenging the male-dominated narratives that have shaped much of early Christian history. The Gospel of Mary also offers a radical departure from traditional doctrine by emphasizing the importance of inner enlightenment over external religious authority. The text suggests that divine understanding is accessible to all individuals through self-reflection and spiritual exploration, bypassing the need for rigid structures or intermediaries. This idea aligns with Gnostic beliefs, which prioritize personal experience of the divine over dogmatic adherence to institutional rules. In this framework, Mary emerges as a guide and spiritual mentor, demonstrating how personal connection with the divine can transform lives. This alternative perspective has significant implications for how Mary Magdalene is viewed in Christian history. For centuries, She was mistakenly labeled as a repentant prostitute, a characterization that minimized her importance and reduced her to a symbol of sin and redemption. However, the Gospel of Mary challenges these misconceptions, presenting her as a woman of wisdom, courage, and spiritual authority. Her unique relationship with Jesus, as well as her ability to inspire and lead others, suggests that she played a far greater role in early Christianity than has traditionally been acknowledged. The Gospel of Mary also highlights the tension between Mary and some of the male disciples, particularly Peter, who questions her authority and the validity of her teachings. This conflict reflects broader struggles within early Christian communities over the inclusion of women in leadership roles. By presenting Mary as a figure who transcends these challenges, the text underscores the importance of her contributions to the spiritual movement that Jesus initiated. Ultimately, the Gospel of Mary invites readers to reconsider Mary Magdalene's place in Christian tradition. It portrays her as a pivotal figure in the dissemination of Jesus' teachings and a symbol of the transformative power of personal faith. Her story challenges traditional narratives and offers a vision of spirituality rooted in inner wisdom and equality, an enduring message that continues to inspire and provoke thought to this day. Mary Magdalene's story has captivated theologians, historians, and popular culture enthusiasts for centuries. While traditionally depicted as a devoted follower of Jesus Christ, her narrative took on an entirely new dimension with the emergence of one of the most provocative conspiracy theories in modern times: the idea that Mary Magdalene herself is the Holy Grail. This theory, popularized by works such as Dan Brown's The Da Vinci Code, suggests that the Holy Grail is not a physical object, a chalice used by Jesus at the Last Supper, but rather a metaphorical vessel represented by Mary Magdalene as the bearer of Jesus' bloodline. This interpretation challenges long-held beliefs about Mary Magdalene's role in Christian history, elevating her significance to that of the literal and symbolic preserver of Christ's legacy. The idea of Mary Magdalene as the Holy Grail reimagines her role not merely as a follower of Jesus, but as an integral figure in the continuation of his spiritual and physical lineage. Proponents of this theory argue that Mary and Jesus shared a deeply personal relationship, possibly even a marital bond, and that after his crucifixion, Mary carried his child. This child, according to the theory, became the progenitor of a sacred bloodline, which some believe has survived through the ages, hidden and protected from persecution. This concept has inspired a profound re-examination of Mary Magdalene's place in both theological and historical contexts, suggesting that her story is far more complex and influential than traditional Christian narratives have acknowledged. The theory also draws heavily on symbolism and hidden meanings found in ancient texts, art, and legends. Supporters point to the absence of clear evidence in the Bible regarding Mary Magdalene's life after Jesus' death, interpreting this silence as a deliberate effort by early church leaders to suppress her story. They argue that the patriarchal structure of the early church sought to marginalize women's roles in the Christian narrative, and that Mary Magdalene's true significance was intentionally obscured to maintain male dominance within the faith. In this light, the theory of Mary as the Holy Grail not only redefines her legacy, but also challenges the broader historical treatment of women in religious traditions. The concept of Mary Magdalene as the Holy Grail is intricately linked to the mysterious organization known as the Priory of SION. This secretive group, first brought to public attention in the mid-20th century, is said to have existed for centuries with the mission of safeguarding the sacred bloodline believed to have descended from Jesus and Mary Magdalene. According to this theory, the Priory has worked tirelessly to protect this lineage, concealing its existence from the public and shielding its descendants from persecution. The organization is also rumored to have preserved evidence of Jesus and Mary's union, including ancient documents, genealogical records, and even physical relics. The Priory of Sion's story gained significant traction after the publication of The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail in 1982, a book that served as the foundation for later works like the Da Vinci Code. The authors of The Holy Blood and the Holy Grail argued that the Priory was instrumental in shaping European history by influencing powerful families and guiding events to protect the sacred bloodline. They claimed that the lineage of Jesus and Mary Magdalene became intertwined with the Merovingian dynasty, an early Frankish royal family, further embedding the bloodline into the fabric of European nobility. While the existence of the Priory of Sion remains a topic of heated debate, with many dismissing it as a hoax, the legend surrounding it has fueled widespread fascination. Whether fact or fiction, the idea of a secret organization dedicated to preserving the legacy of Mary Magdalene adds an air of mystery and intrigue to her story. For many, it represents a tantalizing alternative history, one that challenges the official narratives propagated by religious and secular authorities alike. Supporters of the Holy Grail theory often point to symbolic evidence found in religious art and architecture. They argue that certain Renaissance paintings and cathedral designs contain hidden references to Mary Magdalene's role as the Holy Grail. For example, some interpretations of Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper suggest that the figure seated to Jesus' right, traditionally identified as the Apostle John, may actually represent Mary Magdalene. This interpretation is based on the figure's feminine appearance and the alleged V shape created between Jesus and the figure, symbolizing the sacred feminine or a womb. Similarly, legends surrounding Mary Magdalene's journey to France after Jesus' crucifixion have fueled speculation about her role in preserving the sacred bloodline. According to local tradition, Mary arrived on the shores of southern France, possibly with her child, and lived out the remainder of her life there. Sites like Sainte-Marie de la Mer and the Basilica of Saint-Maximin-la-Sainte-Baume are associated with her presence and have become pilgrimage destinations for those seeking to connect with her story. These legends, while lacking definitive historical evidence, persist as part of the rich tapestry of Mary Magdalene's legacy, blending history, myth, and spirituality. The idea of Mary Magdalene as the Holy Grail carries profound theological implications, particularly for traditional Christianity. If true, it would fundamentally alter the understanding of Jesus' life and mission, reframing him not only as a spiritual leader, but also as a figure deeply connected to human relationships and lineage. It would also elevate Mary Magdalene to a status equal to or even surpassing that of the male apostles, challenging centuries of patriarchal dominance in Christian doctrine. Critics of the Holy Grail theory argue that it lacks credible evidence and relies heavily on speculation and interpretation. They point out that the canonical Gospels, as well as other early Christian writings, do not explicitly mention any romantic or familial relationship between Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Furthermore, many scholars regard the Priory of Sion as a fabrication created in the 20th century by individuals seeking to promote alternative histories. Despite the controversies and lack of definitive proof, the theory of Mary Magdalene as the Holy Grail continues to captivate the imagination of millions. It invites us to reconsider the narratives we've been taught and to explore the possibility that history holds hidden truths waiting to be uncovered. Whether Mary Magdalene was truly the Holy Grail or simply an extraordinary woman whose story was marginalized, her legacy remains a powerful symbol of faith, resilience, and the enduring quest for truth. Mary Magdalene's journey after the crucifixion of Jesus is one of the most captivating and enigmatic aspects of her legacy. According to legend, Mary fled to southern France, carrying not only the teachings of Jesus, but, as some theories suggest, their child. This narrative, while not supported by canonical scriptures, has taken root in French folklore, making Mary Magdalene a central figure in the region's spiritual and cultural history. These stories often begin with Mary's supposed arrival by boat on the shores of Provence, in a place now called Sainte-Marie de la Mer. Accompanied by a few companions, including Martha and Lazarus, Mary is said to have brought the message of Christianity to a new land. This journey was not just one of survival, but also of purpose, as she spread the teachings of Jesus and established a legacy that intertwined faith with local traditions. The Basilica of Saint-Maximin-la-Sainte-Baume, located in southern France, is considered one of the most important sites linked to Mary Magdalene. According to local law, she lived out her final years in a nearby cave, now known as La Sainte-Baume. This site has become a destination for pilgrims, who view it as a place of reflection and spiritual significance. Within the basilica itself are relics purported to belong to Mary Magdalene, further cementing the region's connection to her story. One of the more provocative aspects of this legend is the claim that Mary carried with her the child of Jesus, giving rise to a hidden lineage that would eventually merge with European nobility. This theory, often linked to the Holy Grail conspiracy, suggests that Mary Magdalene's bloodline became intertwined with the Merovingian dynasty, a powerful Frankish royal family. Proponents argue that this lineage was deliberately obscured by the early church to maintain a strictly spiritual interpretation of Jesus' legacy and to suppress the tales of Mary Magdalene's life in France are deeply rooted in local culture, blending elements of biblical history, folklore, and religious tradition. While these stories lack concrete historical evidence, their persistence speaks to the enduring fascination with her life and legacy. Local traditions often emphasize Mary's role as a teacher and spiritual guide, portraying her as a figure of strength and wisdom who brought hope and enlightenment to the region. The annual pilgrimage to Sainte-Marie de la Mer, held in honor of the three Marys who supposedly arrived there, attracts thousands of visitors each year. While the event primarily celebrates the Virgin Mary and other figures from Christian lore, Mary Magdalene's presence is keenly felt, highlighting her importance in the local spiritual landscape. In addition to the pilgrimage, the cave of La Sainte-Baume is considered a sacred site for those seeking a deeper connection to Mary Magdalene. Nestled in a lush forest, the cave is said to be the place where Mary spent her final years in prayer and contemplation. For many, visiting the cave is not just an act of devotion, but also an opportunity to reflect on Mary Magdalene's transformative journey and her role as a symbol of resilience and faith. The idea that Mary Magdalene may have carried Jesus' child to France has fueled centuries of speculation and debate. This theory suggests that Mary, as the Holy Grail, represents a sacred vessel, the bearer of Christ's bloodline. According to this interpretation, the child born of their union became the foundation of a hidden lineage, which was carefully protected and preserved through the generations. Proponents of this theory often cite symbolic evidence in medieval art and literature, as well as cryptic references in ancient texts. For instance, some argue that the V shape formed by Jesus and the figure beside him in Leonardo da Vinci's The Last Supper symbolizes the sacred feminine, hinting at Mary Magdalene's role as the Grail. Similarly, Legends of the Merovingian dynasty's divine origins are sometimes linked to this supposed bloodline, suggesting that these rulers were descendants of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. Critics of the hidden bloodline theory point to the lack of concrete evidence and the speculative nature of the claims. They argue that these stories often rely on interpretations of symbols rather than historical facts, making them more of a cultural phenomenon than a credible historical account. Nevertheless, the theory continues to captivate the imagination, inspiring countless works of fiction, scholarly debates, and spiritual exploration. Whether or not the legends of Mary Magdalene's life in France are historically accurate, they have undeniably shaped the cultural and spiritual identity of the region. Mary's story has become a symbol of transformation, resilience, and the enduring power of faith. Her association with southern France has elevated her from a biblical figure to a cultural icon, bridging the gap between history, myth, and spirituality. Mary Magdalene's legacy in France also invites us to reflect on the broader themes of her story. Her journey from a misunderstood follower to a revered spiritual leader resonates with those seeking empowerment and truth. For many, Mary represents the possibility of redemption and transformation, embodying the idea that faith can overcome even the greatest challenges. In a region known for its rich history and deep spiritual traditions, Mary Magdalene's presence continues to inspire. Whether viewed as a historical figure, a spiritual guide, or a symbol of hidden truths, her story remains a source of fascination and devotion. The legends of her life in France, though shrouded in mystery, remind us of the enduring power of faith to transcend time and place, leaving an indelible mark on those who seek her story. Mary Magdalene's story challenges traditional narratives and invites us to rethink her role in Christianity. From the provocative theories of her life in France to the symbolism of the Holy Grail, her legacy continues to captivate scholars, theologians, and seekers of truth. Was she merely a devoted follower of Jesus, or did she play a more central role in his mission and legacy? The questions surrounding Mary Magdalene's life remain unanswered, but perhaps that is what makes her story so compelling. Her depiction in the Gospel of Mary, her association with the Holy Grail, and the legends of her life in France all point to a figure of immense significance, whose true impact may never be fully understood. As we continue to explore the mysteries of Mary Magdalene's life, her story reminds us of the transformative power of faith, the quest for truth, and the enduring strength of the human spirit. Whether seen through the lens of history, theology, or myth, Mary Magdalene remains a symbol of resilience, wisdom, and the mysteries of faith. What do you think about Mary Magdalene's true role in history? Share your thoughts in the comments below.